your boy Big Star, Raw Sports, rawsports.tv here, man. If you can, I'm sure you need no introduction, but if you can, you know, for the younger audience, introduce yourself to the people, and we'll start there.
All right, my name is LYNN GREER, Sr., father of LYNN GREER II, and grandfather to LYNN GREER III, out of Philadelphia.
No doubt. If you can, give me a quick synopsis of your hoop history, where your love for hoops came from, and just, you know, a little bit of your history, where you came up, where you grew up, schools you played in, and just kind of start there for me.
All right, I grew up in North Philly. I had a brother, two brothers and a sister, and my oldest brother was also a ball player. And so we played basketball in North Philly, and I kind of like followed whatever he did with my older brother. He played ball in North Philly, I played in North Philly. He played high school ball, I played high school ball. He went to Dobbins, I went to Edison, unfortunately, not unfortunately.
No doubt.
I went to Edison only because I couldn't get into Dobbins.
Gotcha.
So, but later on, when my brother was playing high school ball and I was playing high school ball, and then the guys from Dobbins would see me and they say, well, who is that guy? And they say, and my older brother would say, that's my youngest brother. And so they would say, why didn't he go to Dobbins? But the reason was I didn't pass the test to get into Dobbins, so I went to Edison. It worked out fine for me. You know, we went to the Public League Championship when I was a senior. We played and we won that game. We played in the City Championship and we won that game. That was all in 1969.
Gotcha.
And from that I won a scholarship to Virginia State College in Petersburg, Virginia. I went there for 4 years, graduated, played 4 years of basketball. And even though I played forward in high school, when I got to college, the coach moved me to a point guard.
Gotcha.
And I played point my whole 4 years and started.
Do you think that you were like coming from, you know, your skill set in which you played in high school, you think you were ready for that transition? And also, what do you think he saw in you at that point to say, you know what, I need him as my point guard? Well,
I think I was just a good ball player. I kind of had a little intelligence. I didn't make a lot of mistakes. I had a half decent ball handling skills. And evidently he must have saw it, you know. But then when I was in high school, we had enough guards that there was no need for me to play guard. And so once I got to college, and I guess the college coach saw me play and realized my abilities, then he moved me to guard, point guard. So I probably was the biggest point guard in the CIAA at that time.
Gotcha.
And it worked out good for me.
Gotcha.
I did well.
Gotcha. Real quick, if you can go back to your high school years, who were a handful of like some legendary, some really good players that you remember going up against, you know, whether it's in summer leagues, in high school, you know, throw a few names for me.
Well, on my team, we had a lot of good players. It was Romy Thomas, Reggie Kitchen, Ruben Collins. They were the main scorers on our team in high school. And then, of course, there was Tree Grant out of Southern, LYNN Green out of Southern, then we had Roland Grant. Did I say him yet?
Go ahead.
Roland Grant, about 6'10"-ish, coming out of South Philly. I think I might have mentioned that.
Yeah,
I think I did.
Yeah.
Let me see, who else did we have? Fred Stokes was playing back then. Brady Smalls out of West Philly.
You watch the game now. How do you think, this is a conversation I love to have and just love to kind of get people's feedback. How do you think the game has evolved or changed from back when you were in high school compared to now, as far as the skill set that the kids are at? I mean, just, you know, what's different? If there is a difference, it may not be.
I think the biggest difference is that we were more basic ball players.
Yeah.
Now the kids are trying to do a lot more stuff, dribbling in between the legs, going behind their back, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And we didn't do all that. We just pretty much straightforward, passing, dribbling, jump shot. Now I think the kids are more flashy. I always say to my grandson, man, like, man, give me a donut, man. I don't need all that pastry. You know,
that's funny.
You know, all that other stuff, man. But you know, they all do it.
Gotcha.
And now it's either a layup or either 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Kids don't shoot the little 15-footer.
Yeah. The mid-range, the stop and pop.
Yeah.
Things like the stop and pop are kind of like a lost art form.
Oh yeah, it's gone, man. At least a large majority of the kids either drive all the way to the basket or you take the 3-pointers.
Yeah.
The short-range game, 15-footer is almost like dead.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are, like if I was coaching and when I was coaching, it's like cut the drive out. You know, because if they're not driving, they're like losing 70% of their points.
Exactly.
So cut the drive out, make the kids shoot a jumper, you know, which they don't want to do.
Yep.
You know, so I think that's the biggest difference. It's either drive or 3-pointer.
Gotcha.
Nothing in between.
Gotcha. And real quick before I let you go, and I appreciate your time. I really appreciate your time. Give me a few words about your boy. You know, what it was like watching him play, and you know, in high school and college, and then overseas. And then tell me a little bit about your grandson.
Okay. Well, in say middle school. Let me start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
My brother and I, we played a lot of basketball. We both played college ball. We both tried out for, I got drafted in the NBA and the ABA, but I got cut. My older brother, he tried out for one of the ABA teams, and he got out of school a year before I did. But after college, man, we played in a lot of leagues throughout Philadelphia. And I think that was maybe the biggest thing that probably helped us out was that coming up, we played not only in North Philly, but we played in other leagues in South Philly, Northeast, and that kind of stuff. And I think that kind of made us better players as opposed to guys who just maybe stayed in North Philly or stayed in West Philly, and which meant that they were good in their neighborhood. But because they never went anywhere else, man, it's like they never never really
testing their skills on the road. Yep.
So it made a big difference. If you were good in North Philly and then you went to West Philly and you were good there too, and then you went to South Philly and you were good there too, as opposed to just playing and being good in North Philly. So after college, back to your question, we played in a lot of different leagues all over the city, and we would bring our sons. My brother would bring his son Lamar, and I'd bring my son Lynn. And you know, we let them warm up and stuff, and then when the game got ready to start, we tell them, go sit down. You know, and then we go play the game.
There's always kids out there on the court running around, shooting,
And then after the game, then we take them home. So when my kid, well, Lynn went to middle school in Brookhaven, Delaware County. And I used to watch him, I used to go to his games, and I watch him play, man, and I'm like, man, these games are so slow. You know, and after watching him play and shoot around with our warm-ups and stuff, I kind of knew he had some talent. And when I saw him play in middle school, I was like, oh man, this is so, he's much better than this. So when he got ready to go to high school, I decided to take him out of that Brookhaven Christian Academy and bring him over to the public league.
Gotcha.
And of course, man, he didn't want to go. And my daughter was going to the same school.
Was that ENS, correct?
No, but they went to ENS.
Okay, eventually, okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
But they were both in the Brookhaven Christian Academy.
Gotcha.
And so he didn't want to leave Brookhaven. My daughter didn't want him to leave. My wife didn't want him to leave. So I was the only one saying, no, this guy's gone, man. He's out of this. He's much better than this. So I call it an executive decision.
Of course.
You know, because everybody else didn't go.
He had to overrule everybody, no doubt.
So I overruled him, and I got him at ENS, and he was playing well for a 9th grader. But of course, Coach Charlie Brown had some seniors and upperclassmen who I thought Lynn was better than. And but because he was a 9th grader, a freshman, you know, Charlie started the seniors, and I thought Lynn should have been starting. And then eventually, I guess Charlie saw what I saw, and Lynn was starting in the 9th grade and started from there on. And but I think the key to his whole abilities was that Like I had some idea what good ball players do and how they play and what they should know, and I was teaching that to my son Lynn. And not only that, we were working on, you know, after he come home, do his homework, I would take him to the gym and we work on jump shooting, ball handling, because he was left-handed. We never worked on left-hand layups.
Gotcha.
It was all right-hand layups. You know, and it was all pull-up jump shots. You know, dribble, pull up, 15-footer. We always started from inside the paint and then moved out. We did work on a three-pointer, but it wasn't like the only thing. We did the combination. And not only did we work on the short game, it was that foul shot. Because I used to always tell kids, man, you can get an average if you can shoot foul shots.
Exactly.
You know, you go to the line and you make your foul shots, man. You make 10 foul shots in one game. That's 10 points.
Exactly.
You only have to make but maybe 5 shots, jump shots or something, and you got a 20-point average.
Exactly.
So we worked on the foul shots. We worked on the short game. And in high school, of course, he was doing his little drive all the time. And guys were planning you for the drive. And I was saying, Lynn, man, we got to get this stop and pull up. And he used to tell me, he used to fight me. You know, I don't want to, you know, I'm doing good like I am. I said, man, you got to have this pull up. So we went to the gym, we worked on it. And of course, he couldn't get his footwork together at first. I said, Lynn, just slow down. Just do it like this. Do it slow. He slowed down. He started getting his footwork together. And then eventually, you know, we sped it up, and he had the footwork, the fundamentals down, that he was able to do it. So his next year, when he came back to ENS, he was driving hard and stopping.
Stopping on the dime.
Stopping on the dime, man. And the defensive players were still going toward the basket. He was like wide open, and he was able to knock that little short jumper down. So that helped him out in high school. Of course, when we got to college, another story. Because now, you know, he's scoring. Well, let me tell you a little story about that first. When he went to, well, when he was in high school, I had a whole box full of letters from different schools. You know, wanted Lynn to come to their college. So I said to Lynn, look, we got to get together because we got to figure out which one of these schools we're going to go to. So you can take a look at them, see if you want to go there or not. He says, Dad, if it's that far, I'm not going. I don't want to go that far. I said, all right. I didn't quite understand what he meant by that. So anyway, I said, Lynn, later on, maybe a month or so later, I said, Lynn, man, I got to take time off from work so we can figure out you know, which one of these schools you want to go visit. He says, Dad, if it's that far, I don't want to go. So I let it go again. The next thing I know, he says to me, Dad, I'm going to Temple. I said, Temple? Are you serious? I said, man, John Chaney don't play no freshman. He said, and you know, he's probably got a lot of guards already. He said, Dad, I want to go to Temple. So after he made up his mind, I went along with it. We went to Temple. And I said, Lynn, John had 5 guards. I said, Lynn, you know, I think you ought to redshirt. John's not going to play you. He says, Dad, I can play. I said, Lynn, you ought to redshirt. So finally he decides, okay, Dad, I'll redshirt. I called John Chaney up. I said, John, Lynn's going to redshirt. He says to me, okay, all right, if that's your decision, that's okay. I said, all right. So Lynn sits out. He's sitting out. And all of a sudden, he tells me that John Chaney says, Lynn, come on and work out with the team. You know, you don't have to play. Just come and work out. So I'm saying, oh, that's cool. So man, like maybe a couple weeks later, Lynn comes back to me and says, Dad, I'm going to play. I said, Lynn, why are you going to play? He said, Dad, I'm killing these guys. I said, oh no, man. He said, Dad, I'm going to play. I said, all right, go ahead.
Say no more.
He played. John, he sit on the bench. And I'm sitting up in the stands watching. He's sitting on the bench. Temple get down by 10 or 12 points. John will throw him in. He scored 10 or 12 points real quick. John to take him back out. He sit on the bench. And next you know, the season is almost over. I said, Lynn, man, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
You're not going to play, man. You know, you need to sit out. So the next year, I said, Lynn, you need to sit out. He says, okay, Dad, I'll sit out. But then we look at the beginning, before the season starts, man, Temple's ranked number 5 in the country. I said, yeah, Lynn, I don't know, man. I think maybe you ought to play.
Might want to ride the wave. Exactly.
So he decided he's going to play. I called John up, and this was after I'd already told him he was going to redshirt.
Yeah.
I called John up, and I said, John, Lynn's going to play. Well, needless to say, John cursed me out. Man, like, you got to make up your
heaven mind. Yeah.
So anyway, he played, man, and John did the same thing. And he get down by 10, he'd throw Lynn in, Lynn scored 10 quick points, then he'd take him out. And the only good thing was, you know, and by that time, I'm saying, man, I made a mistake. We should have redshirted. Because basically what I was trying to do was get him at least a couple years of starting. If he'd have gone straight like he was going, he would have 1 year to start his senior year.
Gotcha.
And I was trying to at least get a couple, maybe 3 years.
Yep.
And just God's intentions, the last game that he could possibly get any kind of red shirt was against Penn State. He got hit in the eye. He broke the orbital floor bone of his eye, and so he got a medical red shirt, and that was his sophomore year. So he sat out his sophomore year, which was great. He came back his junior year, but it was his sophomore year of playing.
Exactly.
And you know, he played a lot that sophomore year. Came back his junior year, he played, I'm talking about basketball-wise, he started, and he did great. His senior year, he started, and he did great. And the biggest difference was between high school and college was that they had bigger players in college. You know, they would put the 6'6" guys on them. Or either the 6'2" guy that was like 220 pounds, because they knew he was a scorer. And the only way they were going to stop him was either with a tall guy or either some muscle. So I said, man, Lynn, you know what, Lynn, I think we got to come up with something else. I said, I want you to try this. It was a step back. You know, I said, look, this is what I want you to do. I want you to drive hard. You know, going to your right, and then you stop, and step back, and pull up on that jump shot. Man, it was like it opened up so many doors for him. Because otherwise it was hard for him to get a shot off with the 6'6" guy on him, or the guy muscling him and stuff. So he did that step back, and the guys were like 5 and 6 feet away from him, and he pulled up and hit that jump. I mean, I think after that, man, I think everybody started doing a step back. I want to say I originated it. I ain't sure. You know, I never did any studying on it or whatever, but I don't think anybody was doing a step back, at least to that degree that he was doing it. And he was able to continue his scoring, and it worked out good for him. I think he might have been like 11th in the country in scoring his senior year. And I think, you know, we were all anticipating that he was going to get drafted after his senior year. But I think one of the things that really hurt him was they went to the NIT, and he got hurt. You know, he got that high ankle sprain in like the semifinals or the quarterfinals of the NIT. And I think that kind of hurt him because he had to sit out for the rest of the year, senior year. So the draft came up, and you know, we were all sitting at home thinking his name was going to get called, man, and it wasn't. It wasn't in the cards. So he went and played in the developmental league first, and then he went to Europe first, and that kind of like wasn't a great thing because in Europe, even though you have a contract, doesn't mean you're gonna get your money.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, that's the way they do. And I think the team he was on, they were losing, so they stopped paying the guys. And he called me up one day and said, Dad, man, they haven't paid me in 3 months. I said, man, come home. So he came home and played in the developmental league in North Carolina, South Carolina, one of Greenville. And then so after that, he still didn't get picked up. I think he went to camp with Dallas or somebody. And then he went back to Europe, and he started playing well.
Gotcha.
You know, he was playing well, doing his scoring. The other European teams saw that, and he kept moving up because it's different levels. In Europe, you know, you have the real high level, and then mid level, and then low level teams.
Gotcha.
You know, so he kept moving up to the high level teams, and he was leading the EuroLeague in scoring. The Bucks picked him up for 2 years, gave him a 2-year contract, which was good. That's all we were waiting for and looking forward to. When he went to Milwaukee, I went out there and before, well, he made the team, and then he was telling, I said, Lynn, I gotta figure out when I'm coming out to watch some of your games, man. He said to me, Dad, no need in coming, I'm not even dressing. I said, are you serious? I said, man, I'm not coming out there to watch you sit next to me in the stands. So as the season went on, then he started dressing. And then maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then eventually started getting some more time. But the teams in Europe were saying, man, you know, Lynn, come on back to Europe. You know, we'll give you X amount of money. You can play as opposed to sitting on the bench in Milwaukee. And so he said, Dad, what do you think I should do? I said, Lynn, 5 to 10 years from now, nobody even know your name. You know, go ahead for the money. You know, leave Milwaukee, go back to Europe. And that's what he did. You know, he told his agent that he was going back to Europe. They said, you know, your decision. So he still had a year left with Milwaukee, but he gave that up, went back to Europe. And I think it probably was the best thing for him. Even though I thought he could have played, in the NBA, but you know, if it's not in the cards, or if the coaches got other people in mind that they're playing, because they got this little pecking order thing. You know, and so if it's not good for you, if it's not going to work out for you, you might as well just play in Europe. Where you're playing most of the game in high level. And that's what he did, and it worked out good for him.
Hey, real quick, so we got ready to take off to go see Little Lynn play. Tell me about Little Lynn, you know, how he's coming along, and you know, what are your impressions of his game so far?
Well, I think I call him, when I talk to other people about him, I call him Baby Lynn. I don't call him Baby Lynn. Only because, you know, when I say Lynn, everybody's saying, well, which Lynn you talking about? So if I'm talking about him, I call him Baby Lynn, but I don't call him Baby Lynn to his face. But I think his game is a lot more developed than my son's game was at that age, or at this age that he's at now. I think he's a better ball handler. He has a good IQ, basketball IQ, which is good. But of course, he had his dad and he had me to help teach him and show him stuff. So from that standpoint, I think he's a better player at this age than my son was. But he still has a couple things to work on, like that jump shot.
And we got to get him to step back.
You know, he's got to start knocking that jump shot down. But I think the difference is between my son Lynn and my grandson Lynn is my son Lynn was a scorer. He shot first. My grandson, for some reason, and I don't know where he got it from, he likes to pass the ball, man. Lynn, man, where'd you get that?
That's cool, man.
Where'd you get that passing stuff from? Man? Shoot that sucker.
That's cool. Hey, well, I appreciate the stories, man. I appreciate you taking time out of you. I mean, I just pulled you aside and you gave me all this, man. I'm completely humbled. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I heard the stories. It's great to hear the stories from you, opposed to, you know, kind of secondhand, man. I'm looking forward to continuing to, I'm gonna be around. You know, Big Star, you're definitely gonna see my face, you know, in the gyms. I'm gonna definitely, you know, plan on trying to catch as many Roman games as I can for LYNN III. And much appreciated, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.